Well, thanks for joining us for tonight's virtual travel night. I'm Greg Berry, Director of Communications in the Office of Alumni Affairs. Since this is a virtual event, please excuse any technical issues that may pop up. If you experience problems with your audio or video, click the reconnect button on your screen to get back right away. As we begin, we'd like to ask our audience a question, and here it is, if I can get that up. It is, where would you like us to go? Where do you want us to see travel in the future? And I've got the options there, and they're very generic, I know, but there's so many different destinations that you can pick from. Caribbean, Central America, North Africa, North America, Northern Europe, South America, Southeast Asia. Go ahead and plop your information in there. I don't see anybody voting yet, so go ahead and jump in there if you can. It should be available for you to vote. If it's not, drop something in the chat, and I may have to, there we go. We got people voting now, so good. Well, we're going to keep that up for a few moments as you make your selection. Our office is excited to share with you that 2 upcoming trips are full of alumni travelers. In March, we're going to be going to Ireland. In June, England and France for World War II Memorial. Just a quick note, this webinar is being recorded. We're going to upload it onto our website tomorrow so you can rewatch it as often as you would like. Also, be sure to drop any questions you may have throughout tonight's presentations into the chat. We'll have time for Q&A for all 3 of our guests at the very end. And be sure to stay with us all the way through tonight's presentations. At the end, we'll be giving you information on how you can score a travel voucher from our partners for your next trip. Be excited about that. Looking now, it's looking like Caribbean, North Africa, North America, Northern Europe are the most popular selections as potential destinations. I'm going to go ahead and close the poll. At this time, I would like to introduce tonight's travel experts. First is Jack Brinson, Senior Business Development Manager with Collette. Next is Aaron Holst, Relationship Manager for Gohagan and Company. Last but not least is Jennifer Powers, Business Development Manager for Premier World Discovery. And I love those pictures. It just shows you immersed where you're going to be. Jack, I believe that's the Coliseum. I'm going to be there in a few months. Love Paris. Love the mountains where Jennifer is at for that. So at this time, we're going to change the slides, and I'm going to turn things over. We're just going alphabetical order tonight. Jack and Collette is going to go first. Jack, thanks for coming back, and we're looking forward to your presentation.
Thank you very much, and it's always good to be presenting, even if I can't be presenting in person. And just to tell you a little bit about Collette, we've been around 106 years. We are a debt-free family-owned company out of Pawtucket, Rhode Island. We give away the trips on Wheel of Fortune. So that is the backstory on Collette, and we specialize in 4-star or better centrally located tours. And so we're going to talk about a couple of different tours today, but I just want to reiterate the 4-star experience, the hotel baggage handling, everything is done for you, as well as door-to-door sedan service. And I'll kind of talk about some other little things throughout the presentation. But everything that you would need to see and do is already included in the cost of the trip, with some choice activities, as well as some choice meals, etc. And I'll dive into those in just a few. So we're going to talk about a couple of itineraries today, and then we're going to look into the future with just a little teaser on those. But the first one we're going to talk about is the Canadian Rockies with Glacier National Park. This is a 7-day program with 10 meals included. And the way that it looks for the map here, you're going to be in and out of Calgary. You're going to spend 2 nights in Waterton Lake, going to take a day trip into Glacier, head up into Banff, but you're going to be traveling very uniquely that way. And we are going to head Icefields Parkway at the Basque Glacier, as well as back down to Lake Louise in Banff, and then again out of Calgary. So we are going to be starting out at the site of the 88 Olympics, the Cool Runnings Olympics, and you'll get a chance to see the bobsled from that. You'll learn about the Calgary Stampede that takes place there every year, and that takes place in July. And so what we're going to be doing is we're going to be traveling south from there into the Southern Plains, but what we're going to be doing is making a nice big stop at a UNESCO World Heritage Site, which is Head Smashed In Buffalo Jump. Now, contrary to what you may have seen in a lot of Western movies, Native Americans would not ride alongside buffalo and shoot them with bow and arrows. They probably did at one point and realized very quickly that that probably wasn't the most efficient way to harvest these massive animals. So they'd find a spot where they were grazing, set up base camp at the bottom of a ravine, and then from there, they would scare the buffalo into a stampede, and then they would go over the side of the ravine there, and then, of course, safely harvest them at the other end. Hence, head smashed in, buffalo jump. So our Native American buffalo, or actually bison, the French were the first to discover them. They called them le boeuf, or boeuf, which meant big, scary monster. They didn't know what they were. And so the difference between a Cape buffalo in Africa and a bison is that a buffalo can raise its head above its shoulders and a bison cannot. And so from there, we're going to travel down into Montana, and we are going to see some things that you're probably not going to see anywhere else. We're going to travel the road less traveled. We're going to have a very nice welcome dinner. We are going to make a stop at the Prince of Wales, and we are going to have a nice welcome dinner there. We are going to travel out into Glacier, and that's where we're going to spend the remainder of the next day. And then from there, we are going to start traveling north, but we're going to travel using the jammer cars. And so we are going to peel the roofs back and travel the 59-mile route onto Going to the Sun Road. It's only open during the summer months. And then from there, we're going to make a couple of stops en route, but you can kind of see the oxygen line on the mountains there, just how high they are in relevance to the cars there. And you will get a chance to see some Dall sheep, some blacktail, mule deer, etc. You won't see a lot of whitetail in that particular region. And these beautiful sheep here, their horns don't naturally swirl that way. They swirl from butting their heads with one another. So that's why they are swirling there as they get older in age. And from there, we'll travel up to Bow Falls. You'll make a couple of stops there for some pictures. And we'll stop at a couple of other falls before we take a stop and show you the hoodoos, formed from wind and water erosion, known as the land of the sleeping giants. From there, we're going to travel Icefields Parkway, which is known as the 1,000 Switzerlands. If you've ever been to Switzerland, you could probably relate to this picture. Now, if you look at the very bottom of the screen, you'll see a bus, you'll see a truck, etc. But look how tiny they are in relevance to the mountains around them. And again, that's going to be frequent stops heading up into Jasper. And some things we're going to be doing up there in Jasper National Park are going to be seeing the Athabasca Falls, Malign Lake, Malign Canyon, as well as we are going to give you a choice on tour so you can see the Glacier Snow Walk. Or you can actually go and walk on the I wouldn't do it, but I have done it, so I can tell you enough that I do not like it. But the Skywalk is a glass bottom, and you'll walk across it, and you're 1,000 feet up with views of the glacier. Or you can actually walk on Athabasca Glacier itself via the snow coach there. And there are 23 of those snow coaches in existence. And they are designed to not hurt the glacier. And yes, you will experience some ascending and descending before you get onto the glacier. And the glacier itself is 1,000 foot thick. So Athabasca Glacier is as thick as the Eiffel Tower is tall. From there, we're going to make a stop into an iconic lake, beautiful turquoise waters of the Peyto Lake. And Peyto Lake, most remarkable feature that you'll see here in the picture is that it gets its name because it is in the shape of a fox. You will get a chance to see a couple of different, hopefully, bear sighting areas. And one of them is going to be in Lake Louise. And they actually have a bear refuge there with 34 different bears. They're not in captivity. They're free ranging. They are monitored though, but you will get a chance to see them from Lake Louise, and you will definitely get a chance to have plenty of opportunity from the ski resort. The ski lift actually goes over an area where these bear are roaming. And then from there, we're going to take you out of Calgary. You'll spend the night there. You'll have a farewell dinner, and then of course depart out the next day. So that is the Canadian Rockies with Glacier National Park. It is a top 10 seller out of 170 tours that we do. every year, and it's a very popular tour because of the window of time that you can do it. It's only offered during the peak season because, again, of going to the Sun Road. So it's only offered during the summer months. Another tour that we're going to talk about today is Discover Switzerland, Austria, Bavaria. This is a 10-day, 13-meal program. And another good thing about this tour is this is what is known as a hub and spoke tour. So you're going to be 4 nights in Bern, Switzerland, 4 nights in Innsbruck, Austria, and then there is an extension to Vienna at the very end. So you'll arrive into Bern, and you're going to be staying in the old town of Bern, which is what I really like. You're going to cross over the moat of the river there into the old town, and you'll be walking distance from a lot of the things you're going to want to see and do there. The funicular, et cetera, is going to be right there nearby. And you will get a chance to see. They're taking down the bear pits, but you'll see where the bear pits are. And the Archduke wanted to kill or name the air after the first animal he killed, which was the bear. So hence the name, the Bear of Bern. And the old town basically starts in the center and it swirls out from there. You'll see a lot of the main stuff on the Strasse there, the main street, and the Glockenspiel featured right there. We are going to take you to a traditional fondue dinner that first night. It'll be a cheese fondue, and then, of course, everyone's favorite, the chocolate fondue for dessert. You'll learn the entire process there. If you're like me, the first time I went and bought an entire fondue set because I loved it that much, and I've used it that many times. And just because it's a lot of work to get the fondue ready and whatnot. So you love it until you have to try to use it, and then you probably won't use it. So, but the fondue set is absolutely amazing. The fondue dinner is another great part of it. And this is what I'm talking about, how the new section of town separates from the old section. You see the bridges there and the moat that kind of goes around the city. And so you're going to be right in the middle of everything. And this is an overview. We will take you out and you'll get a chance to see it as well as the cathedral there. We actually start there and work our way into town from there, but you will get a chance to duplicate this very picture. So you will have some free time that afternoon. A lot of folks like to do the funicular ride up over the top for beautiful pictures. So the way we're going to tour on this program, you'll either tour in the morning and have the afternoon off, or vice versa. So in this particular case, you'll have that afternoon off. We are going to take you out and show you how the outpourms are made from start to finish. And, of course, you will then get a chance to try one yourself. And the next day, we are going to experience some more fondue. And now the Swiss fondue, I will tell you one thing, when you come back from this trip, you'll probably have gained a few pounds from all of the bread and the potatoes and the cheese and the chocolates and everything else. And so they tell you that it is somewhat healthy, but 4 weeks of running on the treadmill trying to lose the weight I gained from this trip, I don't think that it was that accurate. So from there, we're going to travel into Lake Lucerne, which is the Swiss paradise on the lake. You'll see the beautiful swan swimming around there in the water. And they have a boat that goes around the city as well, and it goes out into a lake that's just out of view of this picture here. But you can see Chapel Bridge down at the bottom, and it has 112 murals painted in the top of it. And the bridge caught on fire in the late 80s. They reconstructed a lot of the pictures, the murals, and they're in a museum. So you'll get a chance to see them, as well as the replicas that are still hanging in the top of the bridge. You will, while you're there, get a chance to walk across the bridge. And there's a couple of museums that we'll take you into while we're there, mostly history of the area museums. And one thing that you'll see, small scale versions of, as well as you'll see the real version of the Dying Lion Monument in commemorative of Swiss soldiers that lost their lives in France. So you'll get a chance to see it. This is a massive monument. There's a pond between you and it, and it is absolutely massive, but you can buy the scaled down versions of it all over. And that region is also known for its wine. Wine is included with all of the dinners, and so it flows pretty freely. A bottle of wine is generally a lot cheaper than a can of Coke in Europe, so you'll have plenty of opportunities to indulge into the local flavors. We'll take you into Liechtenstein, which is the smallest German-speaking country in Europe. And so we are going to stop there, mainly en route, because we don't keep you on the motor coach longer than 2 hours. That's a rule with our company. From there, we're going to travel into Innsbruck, and this appears to be a view of from your hotel. We have a couple of different hotels that are right there on the water that we use, and this is a very similar view to what you would experience when you walk outside every day. And you can see the Austrian Alps there in the background. And what we also do on this trip is you'll have a choice on tour. There will be an architectural tour, and then there's a cultural and historical walking tour. So you get to pick one or the other. Some folks, they want to ride around a little bit more and see things. Some folks want to walk around a little bit more and see things. So we give you that option. They're both included. Just pick one or the other. And one of them is going to show you the Summer Palace of Maria Theresa and the Habsburg Empire. And the other, you'll have an opportunity to see some of the architectural structures like the ski jump, famous from the Winter Olympics. What you don't see in this picture, though, is at the other end of it, if you overshoot your landing, there's a cemetery there. So it's kind of like if you overshoot that landing, you don't have to go very far to be buried. So that is the a very unique architectural structure there. And in the wintertime, it is pretty amazing. We are going to take you for a day trip into the Sound of Music. So you are going to stop in Salzburg. So we are going to take you out and show you the Mirabeau Gardens. We will show you Peter's Cemetery. We'll show you St. Peter's Cemetery. We'll show you all of that while you're there. Not only are we going to do that, we are going to show you the birthplace of Mozart. We're going to show you the Mozartist Museum, as well as we are going to take you to one of the most famous restaurants in that entire region, which is the St. Peter's Restaurant. So that's a very nice way that we're going to be doing that and seeing that. We are going to take you to a Tylorian folk show. It is very interactive. So if you don't want to partake in the activities, don't sit close to the stage. And I'm not one to do that anyways. I always like to sit in the back of the room because I'm going to be the one that they call up there to do whatever it is they're going to be doing. And but the music, everything, the traditional, they'll go over the instruments, they'll go over the dances, etc. And then, of course, they'll get a couple of eager volunteers to join in with them. And then from there, we're going to travel out the next day to the Lindor Palace. We're going to be in Bavaria at this point, show you one of the smallest palaces that you'll ever see. And then you will have some time to explore that countryside there. And so I will tell you, the way that is set up that day, you'll have that morning, you'll make a couple of stops in some towns. And then, of course, we'll settle in and you'll have a nice farewell dinner and then, of course, depart out. Now, there is an extension on this trip that will allow you to extend a few nights in Vienna. And this is a hosted extension, meaning we're there basically to help you structure your day. There's not a real set agenda. And so what a lot of folks do when they're there is they want to see St. Stephen's. They want to go over and see the Schönbrunn Palace. They want to see a couple of things that are not very far away from the hotel. And so we typically use the Intercontinental there, which is a fabulous hotel right across from the park and right down from everything that you'd want to see there. But again, it's hosted. We're there to kind of help you arrange your day. There's not a set schedule as far as that goes. The last tour I'm going to talk about is Spain's Classics. This is a 12-day, 16-meal program. And you're going to start off in Madrid. You're going to end in Barcelona. And there is a post-tour extension at the very end. And this tour is offered because of how popular it is, especially in the alumni market. And we're going to start off in the largest city and the capital. We're going to start off in Madrid. And one thing that we always do is we take you to the city center. We start there and we start working our way out with a city tour. You'll have a very nice welcome dinner. One thing that I love about Spain and Portugal, if you get a chance to do that tour at some time in the near future, is the sit-down meals are more family style than I would say the family style meals in Italy because of just the quantities of food that they bring out for everybody to eat. And the food is absolutely amazing, and it's not uncommon to have a meal last 2 or 3 hours, which is probably why they have siesta time every single day. So we will take you into Plaza Mayor. We'll get a chance to go in and see it. You'll spend some time there. You'll have a local expert here. You'll also have a local expert a little later in the tour, and I'll explain that when we get there. We will go into the Prado Museum, and dates back to the 1800s, and it's got a lot of stuff that even dates back even further than that. They've continually added to it because of how big it is. We are going to travel into Toledo, beautiful cultural city, walled city. Several of the cities you're going to be visiting on this tour are going to be walled cities. We are going to take a high-speed train, and we do that for the reason of allowing you to have more time in the next area that we're going to be traveling to, which is Cordoba. It's a Roman city. You can see the Roman bridge there and see the Roman influences all throughout that region. And it was a Roman station, if you will, for the Roman Empire. We will take you to one of the oldest and one of the most well-preserved Jewish quarters in Europe. And so you will get a chance to tour that while you're there, and take you into the Mesquita, which is also a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and see the artifacts that are in there. Absolutely beautiful architect from start to finish. When you go in and see it, they'll just show you how they've added on and which artist took over at a certain point for another artist. And just amazing. You'll spend all afternoon there. From there, we travel into Sevilla, and a lot of folks, a lot of universities spend a lot of time here because of its cultural influences. And we are going to get views of the Plaza de España, and you will have an opportunity to explore a little bit of it. You won't get a chance to really dive in deep because of the amount of time that we are going to be there, but you will have enough to learn about it. There is an opportunity while you're there, another choice on tour. You get a chance to go and see the Big River or the Santa Cruz Quarter. You basically just pick one or the other. And again, because of time purposes, they're both included. You just pick one or the other. And then from there, we'll have a tapas lunch. You will have also have an opportunity to have a tapas dinner as well as paella coming up down the road, because I know people are always asking about tapas. So we're going to learn the history of tapas. You'll have a tapas lunch, and then a little later, you're going to have a tapas dinner. But one thing we're going to do while we're here is we're going to cap off the evening with a dinner and a performance. So you'll learn the art of flamenco dancing. And then from there, travel into Granada, and you will then travel out, and we will show you the Alhambra. We will show you the gardens as well. Now, this is on a schedule, so it's only open to the public certain days out of the year. Certain royalty, everything. They always like to go there and visit. So sometimes it's closed. We don't even operate it during those particular times. So it is part of it, and General Life is part of that as well. The beautiful gardens, atrium-style gardens out there as well. And this is the tapas dinner that I was just telling you about. So we show you the lunch, and then we give you a full-on smorgasbord, if you will, of an array of dinner pieces with the tapas. So it's going to be pretty amazing as far as that goes. From there, we're going to travel into Valencia, and you will have adequate amount of time to spend there. There's not a whole lot on the agenda outside of the City of Arts and Sciences, some time on the beach there. We are going to just take you a brief overview of the area. You'll have a local expert step on, show you the court towers. They'll show you a couple of the other parts of the city, and then they're basically going to turn you loose to explore the markets and whatnot. So you'll have plenty of time to do that and to roam around before we settle up that afternoon for a paella making session. And then, of course, you'll then get a chance to eat the finished product there. From there, we're going to travel into Barcelona, and this is where we're going to end up the tour. So we're going to make a few different stops. We're going to learn all about Gaudi's architecture as well. We are going to take you in and show you the Sagrada Familia, the ever-changing, ever-building, ever-expanding. You will get a chance to go inside. You will tour that. And then you will then have a farewell dinner. Now, there is an extension that focuses a little bit more on Barcelona. It's going into Park Güell and a few other areas, as well as Costa Brava. And so you will get a chance to experience that. Now, just looking on the horizon, And we are looking at British landscapes. Now, this is already selected. The tours haven't been released yet, but British landscapes featuring the Royal Military Tattoo, 10 days, 12 meals. And you're going to be starting in Edinburgh as well as ending in Scotland. And then there is a post tour into Paris at the very end. But it's basically England, Scotland, Wales, and multiple nights in each place, starting in Edinburgh, making your way down. And I will talk more about that in the future, as well as South Pacific Wonders. A lot of call for Australia and New Zealand in the South Pacific, 15-day, 22 meals. And it's going to be 3 nights in Cairns, 3 nights in Sydney, and then the rest of the time is going to be in the South Island of New Zealand. And then there is an extension into Fiji at the very end. And so, well, again, I will talk about that in the near future. Now, we do a hometown pickup. We do a door-to-door sedan service. We do all of that. So when you sign up for this tour, any of these tours, we will pick you up at your house. If you do not live locally, take you to the airport via sedan and bring you back. If you do live locally, we'll do a local transfer for the group. And then you can arrive in a day early, stay a few days later. We do a lead airfare, any type of experience you'd like. If you want to do a back-to-back tour, if you've got more time to spend, just let us know. If you want to arrive in a day early, also let us know and rest up for your trip, any of these trips. And our cancellation insurance is unique to the industry in that you can cancel up until the day prior to departure, get all of your money back, no questions asked. Bad hair day policy, you can say, I don't want to go on this trip. And that's the part A. The part B of the insurance is that medical aspect of it. So medical evacuation, trip interruption, lost luggage. If you call home and someone in your immediate family needs you to come home for whatever reason early, we refund you whatever you did not see on the tour and send you home. So it covers every aspect of the tour. And then we have a passport club. So just for being loyal to UAB, if you travel within 1 year of your previous tour, you'll get up to 5% off of your next trip. If you travel within 2 years of your previous tour, you'll get 3% off. And if you travel on more than one tour, you'll actually get even more discounts as far as that goes. So passports, you do need passports. Visas are going to start next year in certain countries in Europe. I will go over them as they roll out. And basically, it's just a visa that they're requiring in certain countries in Europe, 24 countries as of right now. And we were already doing it to them coming into the U.S. They're basically doing it back to us now. $7.70 is roughly what it equates to, and it's good 3 years from the date of purchase. And again, that goes into effect for 2025, not 2024 touring. And that's what this is basically starting in 2025. And you can actually go online and see what countries are requiring what. When do they require you to purchase those visas? And so you can go on the group webpage. You can call the 800 number. You can let us know however you'd like to do that. Make payments however you would like. Deposits will generally be $698. We'll guarantee you a land and air seat on the tours. And then final payment is typically done 60 days prior to departure. And we don't care how you get there. You can pay along. We don't charge credit card fees or administrative fees or anything like that. And that is the presentation for Collette. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you, Jack. And with that visa stuff, that's something we've been watching, and it's been something that's just been year by year, and they just keep pushing it back. So now we're going to go take a look at a cruise that we have coming up in the Med. Emma Grace, go ahead and toss that up for us. There we go. And Aaron, you are all set.
Great. Thanks, Greg. I appreciate it. I'm just delighted to be on this evening's call where I'll get a chance to introduce you to Gohagan and Company and a couple of our once-in-a-lifetime travel programs we're featuring in 2024 and 2025. For more than 35 years, Gohagan has been a leader in 5-star small ship travel programs. We're very proud to provide really the most exclusively chartered ships in affinity travel. And because we charter the ship, we curate the itinerary and have one-of-a-kind travel programs for alumni and affinity markets. Our company was founded by Mr. Gohagan, and he was one of the first to curate our one-of-a-kind travel programs for alumni and affinity markets. So we're very proud to be an exclusive partner with UAB on a couple of these trips. So Greg, I'll turn it over to you to play the video, which will give you more insight into Gohagan and what makes our company and our travel program so special.
And I will tell the guests that we have, the presenters, if you haven't muted, go ahead and mute. Otherwise, we'll get kind of an echo. So I'll go ahead and play that video. And then as soon as we're done, we'll get back to Aaron.
With over 40 years of experience in the travel industry, Gohagan has earned a reputation for excellence in providing unique and unforgettable travel experiences to its clients. We believe that travel involves more than just visiting a destination. It's about gaining a deeper understanding of the world around us. Our aim is to create experiences that will immerse you in the beauty, culture, and history of the destination, pique your intellectual curiosity, provide insight not found on any other travel program, inspire you to look at the world in a new way, and foster meaningful interaction with the local community and other travelers. Gohagan and Company is proud to provide the most exclusively chartered ships in affinity travel, the ideal way to explore the destinations on our one-of-a-kind itineraries. The 5-star ships we charter for our ocean cruises, and deluxe, small river ships, used on our other programs, provide access to ports often inaccessible to larger vessels. Exclusively chartered cruising provides the optimum setting for affinity groups. There is control over the entire ship. We hand-select the associations invited to sail with us. You'll feel a true sense of comfort and community, traveling with members of your group and the other lifelong learners on board. We look forward to having you join us on one of our exceptional programs across the globe.
And Aaron, I will say I am a new cruiser and I am relatively addicted. So
yeah, it's a great way to see so many different sites where you unpack and you can stay there and you can get off port and see so many different destinations. It's just a really easy way to see many, many sites.
And hold on while I get to the right one.
Nope, that's okay. Just a little bit more about our all-inclusive itineraries, Greg. While you're working on that, I'll move on to here, the next slide. Talk a little bit about our all-inclusive itineraries. So when you travel with Gohagan, we take care of pretty much every single detail with our all-inclusive travel program package that we have you covered from the time you arrive in your city of embarkation until your final transfer back to the airport. During our travel programs, a unique component with Gohagan is that we will have featured guest lecturers and speakers talking about specific destinations while you're traveling, whether it be a faculty member, a host, or someone that Gohagan is exclusively hired on board. So they're not only informative from a travel perspective, but they're also insightful because you're getting the educational component from faculty members and lecturers from other sponsoring organizations on our travel programs. We also have our Gohagan travel directors that are Gohagan employees who have been traveling 20, 25, 30 years all over the world, who will be there to assist you and make sure the travel program runs smoothly, in addition to the ship's crew and staff members. We curate, as I mentioned before, the itinerary. So we hire our own English-speaking local guides and partner with local DMCs to provide the most exclusive and unique travel itineraries. We have unlimited beverages on board, including an extensive wine list. All meals and snacks on board are included. Our ships are 5-star deluxe accommodations. We will host welcome and farewell receptions, free Wi-Fi. We have hospitality desks on board, gratuities for local guides and drivers, and then transfers and luggage handling are also included in all of our travel programs. So moving on to our first cruise here in 2024 with UAB, we're featuring Island Life Creek Isles in Ephesus. So it's really a breathtaking program when we talk about Greece. You know, if you're wanting to see Greece, it's made up of hundreds of islands. And I really strongly recommend, if Greece is where you want to go, cruising is the best way to see just how different each island can be. It's home to amazing sunsets, sandy beaches, ancient ruins, turquoise waters, delicious cuisine, and each island is so very different. But we will visit, on this exclusive journey, we'll visit the islands of Delos, Mykonos, Patmos, Santorini, my personal favorite Rhodes, and we'll also walk through the legendary ruins of Ephesus, Turkey. So we'll explore the UNESCO World Heritage Site Meteora, which is world famous for its monasteries that you see there in the picture, which is suspended. It looks like it's suspended in air, and it's situated in a magnificent landscape on top of a giant rock that rises up 600 meters above sea level. And so that's really the first stop when you embark the ship and we sail on Meteora will be the first excursion that we will take you to. We'll also traverse the streets of UNESCO inscribed Delos and the ruins of 3 temples that are dedicated to Apollo. We'll explore the luxurious terrace houses of Ephesus and climb to the top of the Acropolis at Lindos on the islands of Rhodes. And it just has the most magnificent view of the Mediterranean Sea when you're standing up on that Acropolis. We stop at Santorini, which is a crescent-shaped island. It's oftentimes the island that you think of when you picture Greece with the whitewashed buildings, but it's absolutely breathtaking and beautiful. And this unique itinerary is just filled with really the right balance of cultural enrichment, free time to explore at your leisure. There's a lot of amazing shopping at some of these islands that we're stopping at, local markets, and many opportunities to interact with locals as well. When we were talking about Gohagan before, as I mentioned, we exclusively charter our ships. So we are in control of the itinerary. We work with a French company on this particular program called Panat, and they use a handful of 5-star luxury small ships. And so this program will be on Lake Bougainville. And Lake Bougainville launched in 2019, so the ship is only 5 years old. It's absolutely beautiful. It's got modern design and really a new standard of luxury for unparalleled cruising. When I talk about small luxury ships, our travel programs are going to be at most 184 guests, as this ship has 92 cabins. So if our program is sold out, at most we'll have 184. If not, we still charter, we still run that program. And oftentimes our guest to crew ratio is sometimes 1.5. So on the Lake Bougainville, all of our cabins have a private balcony that you can go out. It's absolutely fantastic if you want to go out and watch one of those amazing Greece sunsets. And then here down in the bottom right-hand corner, we call this the Blue Eye, which is you can go down. It's basically a bar area that you can sit and you can see outside of the ship. So some really unique components and features on Lake Bougainville. Moving on to the itinerary, this 9-day itinerary, like I said before, we'll visit Delos, Mykonos, Patmos, Santorini, Rhodes, and Turkey. So the early booking rate through April and lead-in price for this program starts at $5,215 plus air. And so this program is likely to sell out after the brochure hits homes, which will be sometime in mid-February. So I encourage you to book now to reserve your spot. We'll also tour, like I said, the island of Santorini here, pictured here with the whitewashed buildings, and visit the newly reopened and improved excavations of Akrotiri. And the ruins of Akrotiri date back to the 16th century BC. It was once a thriving city, but it was completely buried by ash and pumice from a volcanic eruption. And it was recently discovered in the late 60s, and they've improved the museum, so it's actually inside, air conditioned. But We'll explore its excavated remains and see how people lived more than 3,500 years ago. It's absolutely fascinating. A highlight of this 9-day itinerary cruise is, like I said before, the special day in Turkey. We'll drive from Kusadasi to Ephesus and pass through rural Turkish villages and countrysides dotted with fig trees. And we'll also visit the Monastery of St. John and Cave of Apocalypse, both of which are UNESCO World Heritage Sites on the island of Patmos. And these sites are where the Apostle John is said to have received the book of Revelation. We'll also visit the medieval city of Rhodes. And this is the Acropolis up here up top that you can see of Lindos. It's absolutely breathtaking. I found it to be very interesting compared to the Acropolis in Athens, in that this one is not as busy, and just the view is absolutely spectacular. For those who want to either extend their journey in Greece, we offer a 3-day, 2-night pre-program in Athens. And then we also will visit the Acropolis in Athens, the Acropolis Museum. And then our program concludes with an optional 3-day, 2-night post-program exploring Delphi. And moving into 2025, give you a sneak peek of what we have for Southern Europe. I saw some people who were interested in Southern Europe. And if you're interested, this is the way to see it. The Rivieras of France and Italy will be available for sale in March. So we're expecting that to happen in the next 4 to 6 weeks. This program has sold out the last 3 years for us. So don't wait to book if it's something that you're interested in. But really, we'll explore the Mediterranean coasts of Spain. We begin in Barcelona, cruise from Spain, France, and then end in Rome on a 5-star 4-masted sailing ship on an amazing tour of the iconic Riviera. So it's an 8-night itinerary. And really, you'll have an opportunity to see the heart of one of the most storied regions of Europe. We'll have excursions planned to the cliffside villages of Cinque Terre, Corsica's fortified town of Bonifacio, and a 4-treasured UNESCO World Heritage Site, and taste some of the finest cuisine of the regions. As I mentioned before, it is on a 5-star 4-masted sailing ship called the Wind Spirit. It's a beautiful sailing experience. It is a motored sailing ship. So when the sails aren't working, we do use the motor, but it has 74 cabins, 148 beds, and offers a fantastic James Beard Foundation culinary experience. For the duration of the program, really there are highlights along this route, from the charming coastal towns of Nice and Portofino to the stunning landscapes of the French and Italian Rivieras. Really, with our small ships, we're able to get into smaller ports of call that offer unique shopping experiences, really from bustling markets with local crafts to high-end boutiques featuring luxury brands. But there will be plenty of shopping options, lots of time to explore. We also visit Genoa. We have a very special experience for guests to take part in a pesto making demonstration. And then that's followed by a tasting of 7 specialties paired with local wine. We also have a private boat excursion to Cinque Terre, or 5 Lands as it's called, which is really a collection of 5 small and very picturesque villages founded around the year 1000, all clinging to cliffs over the Mediterranean Sea and connected to small footpaths. We'll visit UNESCO World Heritage Sites and historic fortified city of Carcassonne, which is one of the best preserved medieval cities in Europe. And then we'll also visit Monte Carlo, the Rock of Monaco that overlooks the Med Sea, and the Port of Hercules. So it's a fantastic itinerary. As I mentioned before, we've sold this program out the last 3 years. In 2024, we're hosting Clemson's president on this trip. So it is a fantastic itinerary. Again, for those who want to extend their journey, we offer a 3-day, 2-night pre-program in Barcelona. For a tour, you'll have an opportunity to tour the Gothic district, the Picasso Museum, La Sagrada Familia. And then at the end, when we disembark in Rome, there's a 4-day, 3-night post program in Rome with tours of St. Peter's Basilica, the Vatican Museums, the Sistine Chapel, and the iconic Colosseum. So, Greg, I'll turn it back over to you as that includes my presentation for our programs. Thank you.
Awesome and very exciting. Thank you so much, Erin. Finally, I would like to turn things over to Jennifer, where we're going a little bit more domestic.
Hi, so glad to be here tonight. I'm excited to present to you 2 escorted tours in North America. And one of our, actually a little bit more information about me, Jennifer Powers. I've had the opportunity to travel the world. The picture that has the Norwegian flag, I was traveling on a family heritage trip over to Norway, of course. And then one of the trips that I'm presenting on this evening is our Great Trains Grand Canyons trip, one of my most favorite destinations, Sedona and the Grand Canyon area. So you're definitely in for a treat. So I'm sure you've seen the chats. You've heard it from Jack as well. I mean, travel is off the charts. People are just waiting to get on the planes. We have more demand than supply. So trips are filling up fast. So if you have interest in any of the trips that are presenting tonight, make sure you sign up as soon as possible. So a little bit more about Premier World Discovery. We were established in 1999 and our headquarters are in Redondo Beach, California. And we specialize in group travel for active adults. Memberships and affiliations, we're an active member of USTOA, which requires us to post $1 million bond, as well as memberships in American Bus Association, National Tour Association, and the Better Business Bureau. We carry an A+ rating, and we also carry a $5 million liability insurance policy. A little bit more about USTOA. We are one of the proud members of the travel companies out there, 54 travel companies that have the USTOA certification. And that means to you that in case anything happens with the company, we have a $1 million traveler assistance program available. We offer quality tours and unique itineraries, over 80+ worldwide itineraries, quality hotel accommodations. You should expect a 4-star property, professionally led tours. So these are fully escorted tours by a specialist. They specialize in the area that we're traveling to, and we travel in style. So you're going to fly to the destination and then board a motor coach to do your sightseeing. Very inclusive of sightseeing and admissions. So what you see and what you want to do is automatically included. And we also offer those unique and cultural experiences. Breakfast daily, welcome farewell dinners, and themed meals are included. Round trip airfare, we do have that priced out of Birmingham and Atlanta. If you would prefer another gateway, just request that. We'd be happy to give you that rate. So the first itinerary I'm presenting on is our July 13th, Cape Cod and the Islands, a 7-day program featuring Boston, Martha's Vineyard, Nantucket, and Newport. So this program includes a Nantucket Island tour, the Whaling Museum, a Boston City tour. Of course, we're going to see Faneuil Hall, Plymouth Plantation, Plymouth Rock, Hyannis, Martha's Vineyard tour, Newport's Ocean Drive, Breakers Mansion tour, Heritage Plantation, sandwiched, and then you wouldn't want to go to New England without having that lobster dinner. So 6 nights accommodations are included on this program. We're going to do 1 night in Boston before we head out to the Cape. A total of 9 meals are included, 6 breakfasts and 3 dinners. And this is the itinerary map. We'll fly into Boston round trip and then head on over to the Cape, where we're going to have 5 nights out on the Cape and then do our sightseeing out to the various places each day. So day 1, we're going to fly into Boston. So welcome to Boston, nicknamed as Cradle of Liberty. Day 2, we're going to have a city tour before we head out to Plymouth and then out to the Cape. We'll visit the old North Church, Christ Church, which was actually the most active church building in Boston since 1723. It's on the National Register of Historic Landmarks and is actually the site that launched the American Revolution. We'll see the Old South Meeting House, which was the organizing point for the Tea Party in Beacon Hill, and Old Ironsides, which is the world's oldest commissioned naval vessel afloat, and Faneuil Hall, as well as Quincy Market. We'll have a little time here to grab a bite to eat before we head out to Plymouth Plantation. So we're going to step back in time to 1662. It is a living history museum. You're in for a treat. And we will also see the Mayflower 2 and Plymouth Rock before we head on out to the Cape. On day 3, you're in for a treat. We're going to go out to Martha's Vineyard. And of course, Martha's Vineyard has all these wonderful, famous artists, presidents, entertainers, writers that live there. And we're going to take a ferry ride out there. It takes about an hour to get out to the vineyard. And we're in for a treat because Martha's Vineyard is a summer colony primarily. And it's only accessible by boat or by plane. We'll have a little time in town to do a little sightseeing before we head out to Gay Head Lighthouse. On day 4, we're going to see the Cape Cod National Seashore, Provincetown, and visit a cranberry bog. And we're also going to see these little neat cottages. So these neat little cottages are the dune shacks of Peaked Hill Bars. And they're home to many artists and writers. I think this guy was getting actually inspiration with his Adirondack chair on top of that cottage. And then, of course, Provincetown itself. Now, you may want to get a little lobster roll, but Provincetown is actually one of the longest standing art communities in the U.S. One of the highlights, the cranberry bogs. So we're going to learn everything about cranberries, all the history, the wetlands. But believe it or not, U.S. farmers harvest more than 41,000 cranberries acres a year. So that's 41,000 acres of cranberries that are harvested each year. Day 5, we're going to head on out to Newport, Rhode Island. Of course, this is home of America's Cup. And we'll have a little time in Newport before we go out to the historic district and one of those most famous mansions. And actually the residents out there, the owners called them their cottages. We're going to see the cottage of the Breakers, which actually was owned by Cornelius Vanderbilt II. Back in 1885, he purchased the Breakers Mansion for $450,000. Now it's worth about $12.3 million today, probably even more. And of course, we're going to see more of the states while we're there, including the Marble House, and we'll do 10 Mile Drive. And day 6, we're going to go out to Nantucket Island, take another ferry ride. Hopefully we'll see some whales or porpoises. And Nantucket is full of architecture. It really looks like 17th century architecture, really untouched throughout the centuries here. One of the highlights is the Whaling Museum, which is included on the program. And as I mentioned, we're going to have that farewell lobster dinner. So you're in for a treat. Day 7, we're going to transfer to Boston for our flight home. So you can see all of the inclusions of this program. And the tour does include the round trip airfare, as I mentioned, out of Birmingham and Atlanta. Other gateways are available upon request. 6 nights accommodations, a professional tour director, 9 meals, motor coach transportation, admissions, and sightseeing per the itinerary, hotel transfers, and baggage handling. The weather and climate, anybody in the South is going to be excited to go to Cape Cod because the average high in July in Cape Cod is 79 degrees and in Boston, 82. So delightful. Our day of departure is Saturday, July 13th through Friday, July 19th. The rate is $37.25 per person based on double occupancy. These rates, as I mentioned, include air out of Birmingham. You can take $100 off if you're flying out of Atlanta. $36.25 would be the rate if you make your funnel by check, and we do have a single supplement of $850. Next program, as I mentioned, one of my most favorite areas in the U.S., the Grand Canyon and Sedona area. We're going out for 5 nights in Sedona, departing September 15th. So this includes, of course, in the title of the name is Great Trains. We're doing 2 rail journeys on the Grand Canyon Railway as far as the Verde Canyon Railroad as well. Grand Canyon National Park, we're going to visit the South Rim, Oak Creek Canyon, Black Bart Steakhouse and Saloon. We're going to do a Sedona trolley tour, visit the Chapel of the Holy Cross, Tlaquepaque in Uptown Sedona, Montezuma Castle National Monument, Jerome, a Chuck Wagon Supper stage show, and Old Town Scottsdale. So 5 nights accommodations in Sedona. This is a 1 hotel stay, which I really like to call a hub and spoke. Each day we're going to go out and do sightseeing and come back in the evening in Sedona. So we're going to stay at the Hilton at Bell Rock or the Courtyard by Marriott or the Paco Diablo Resort. 8 meals are included, 5 breakfasts and 3 dinners. We will fly round trip into Phoenix and then head north up to Sedona. So day 1, we'll fly into Phoenix and head north, as I mentioned, up to Sedona, which was founded in 1902. That evening, we'll have a welcome dinner. You can settle into the hotel, get a good night's sleep, because on day 2, we are off and running. We're going to do a Sedona trolley tour, visit the Chapel of the Holy Cross, Airport Mesa, Tlaquepaque, and Uptown Sedona. So the trolley is going to be our mode of sightseeing transportation that day. And as you can see, the windows can be rolled up, but the sights are going to be spectacular. The Church of the Holy Cross. We'll drive up to the church and you'll have some time up on top. You can enjoy the beautiful views. And then we're going to be off to Airport Mesa. Now, the trolley driver who's giving the commentary will point out all of these different rocks. I swear they have every single rock named. In this picture right here, off to the right, that is Coffee Pot Rock. And I've been out there 10 different times. I've done the tours, and it's very interesting because they keep on changing the names of this rock, keep on updating them. But the colors out there of the red, and we'll visit Tlaquepaque, which is an arts and craft village. You can do a little shopping here for the blown glass as well as the pottery. And in the afternoon, you'll have an optional excursion on the Peak Jeeps, which I would highly, highly recommend. This is a great way to see the backcountry. If you don't want to do the Pink Jeep, you'll have some time in Uptown Sedona to do a little shopping, grab a little lunch, get a good night's rest, because on day 3, we're going to travel up Oak Creek Canyon, go up to the Grand Canyon Railroad, and then travel out to the south rim of the Grand Canyon and back through Flagstaff. So as we work our way up the Oak Creek Canyon area, we're going to end up in Williams, Arizona, a part of Route 66. This is where we're going to board the train. And we're going to travel through the Ponderosa Plains and just enjoy the beauty and the train atmosphere. It's quite delightful. And of course, the viewing platforms. We'll roll right up into the Grand Canyon Village. So you literally get off the train, walk across the street, and you are right there at the South Rim. Spectacular views. The first expedition of the Grand Canyon was back in 1857. You'll have some time on your own to grab lunch. You may want to go to the El Traval Hotel, a historical property out there. But we're just going to enjoy those views. And on the way back, we're going to roll up to Black Bark Steakhouse and Saloon for a little steak on our way back to Sedona. On day 4, we're going to visit Montezuma Castle, Jerome, and have another train experience on the Verde Canyon Railroad. So Montezuma Castle, known as a 12th century skyscraper. So we'll learn a little bit more about that. And then we will travel up to Jerome, an old mining town. So you'll have a little time here to grab a beverage, a coffee, a snack. You may want to stop into the Nellie Bly, world famous because they have over 90 kaleidoscope artists there. So you can purchase one for $2 for your grandkids up to $50,000. So there's a wide variety here. And then we're going to be off to the Verde Canyon Railroad. Now, we're going to have a 4-hour, 21-mile experience. There are car attendants, which will share their knowledge in history, these outdoor cars that you can go out on, just really enjoy the sightseeing as well as the wildlife. You'll see so many eagles, you're going to lose count. And of course, the javelina. Yes, they look sweet, but they're not. They're quite mean. That evening, you'll have dinner on your own. And on day 5, since this is such a great place, we're going to give you a day at leisure and have our final farewell dinner at the Blazing M Ranch. So you can enjoy one of the many art galleries that are in the area, maybe do a little meditation while you're out there, get a spa treatment, play a little golf. Yes, you can play golf out there and rent the equipment out there as well. We also have a couple of optional excursions that you can take advantage of, or you may just want to put on your walking shoes and walk around these beautiful red rocks. That is actually Bell Rock. It's very easy to climb. I've actually climbed 3/4 of the way up. Very leisurely hike, believe it or not. And you may see some prickly pear cacti while you're out there. You probably will see it because they make everything out of it, including the prickly pear margarita. So I don't have too many of those. And you can also enjoy the swimming pools while you're out there as well, or do some last minute shopping in uptown Sedona, where we're going to have our last farewell dinner will be at the Blazing M Ranch. And some nice entertainment before we travel back to Sedona. And definitely take notice of the skies. Sedona is known as an international dark sky city. They have outdoor lighting codes, which really provides that opportunity to see the best of the stars. And on day 6, we're going to travel back down to Phoenix and stop in Scottsdale before we get back to the Phoenix airport and fly home. So again, full of sightseeing and attractions to rail journeys, the Grand Canyon South Rim, Oak Creek Canyon, Black Bark Steakhouse and Saloon, Sedona Trolley Tour, Chapel of the Holy Cross, Tlaquepaque and Uptown Sedona, Montezuma Castle National Monument, Jerome, a chuck wagon supper and stage show, and top it off with Old Town Scottsdale. Our tour includes that round trip airfare, 5 nights accommodations, a professional tour director, 8 meals, motor coach transportation, admissions and sightseeing per the itinerary, hotel transfers, and baggage handling. Now, we're going in September. You may see, okay, the average high is 89. That's getting pretty hot, Jennifer. Well, actually, you're traveling to a very dry heat environment. So your 89 degrees will probably feel like the low 80s for all of us Southern people here. Our day of departure is Sunday, September 15th, returning on Friday, September 20th. The regular rate is $37.75 per person. If you make your final by check, it's $36.75. And the single supplement is $875. As I mentioned, you have that booking discount if you make your final payment by check of $100. So reservation and space is limited, first come, first served basis. It is a combined departure, so you will be traveling with other alumni programs out there. Final payment is 75 days before departure. We do offer a travel protection plan, which is $325. You can review all that information on the website and on our brochure. Compass Club, once you travel with Premier, will automatically enroll you in our Compass Club, which gives you a $100 discount on your next Premier tour. There's 2 easy ways to sign up. You can fill out the reservation form, mail it, scan it, call our office to sign up for the trip. You can also use our online reservation system with the web code, which will be located on actually the website under the trips. And that's all on the UAB alumni website. So thank you so much for letting me present today. And we hope to see you on one of our tours soon. Thanks, Greg.
Now, I know that was just a ton of information. And thank you so much, Jennifer. 6 trips, I think, plus 3 pending. We're working with Jennifer to select a couple of more for 2025. So there's a lot coming at you. This is your time for our audience to ask those questions that you need. And just be aware that we very specifically pick our trips. We don't throw the whole catalog at you. We want you to have the best possible. And we work with each of these providers, Aaron, Jennifer, and Jack, to pick specific trips for you with our alumni in mind. So we already have questions coming in. If others have questions, go ahead, drop them in the chat and I'll get them answered. So Aaron, talk a little bit about what port do the ships depart and return to? Is it start one spot, end another, or do they loop all the way around?
For our Greece program in 2024, you embark in Athens and you disembark in Athens. For the Rivieras in 2025, you'll embark in Barcelona and disembark in Rome.
2 different ports of call. Yeah. So do you all, this one, I believe, is again back with Aaron. Do you all take care of the approvals and paperwork necessary for the tours at the Vatican? And whoever else has Vatican, Jack, you might have a Vatican trip coming up. Might be down the future. Who knows?
So we're visiting the Vatican Museum. So we're not actually visiting the Vatican. So the paperwork for the Vatican doesn't pertain to the post program in Rome to visit the Vatican Museum.
Okay. Solo accommodations. We had a couple of questions come in, and still, if anybody has questions for these, I know it's a lot of information, drop them in the chat. What are solo accommodations? People, we have several that are traveling solo. We had one go to Paris back in December. We already have one signed up for coming up, and I can't remember which one, if it's Spain's Classics or it's Switzerland. One person signed up by themselves. Prices are typically based on dual occupancy, but each of you speak on the traveling solo. And let's start with Jack.
Sure. Basically, when you're dealing with solo travelers, most of the European beds are based on 2 people to a room, and so they're very limited on the amount of solo travel rooms, and so the more you are traveling around, the more beds you're staying in, the higher the solo rate will be. The fewer the beds you're staying in, the cheaper it will be. So, I mean, it just depends on the tour. There's generally 5 to 7 allotted per trip on a standard 40-passenger tour. It will vary, obviously, with ships and other types of travel. But as far as the land side goes, that is typical, especially in Europe, because you pay by bed, not by room.
Jennifer, how about you?
Well, we also offer a single supplement, and our domestic programs, we're using predominantly chain hotels. So there's really no difference as far as size of the room. Over in Europe, it's a lot different as far as sizes of rooms when it comes to solo travelers. There, as I mentioned, there's a single supplement, and it's not a problem to travel solo on any domestic trip.
And Aaron, we'll end with you. And somebody even asked, additionally, what is a single supplement on the Greek islands?
Yep. So we do offer a single supplement on certain cabin categories, and the single supplement is at 160% of the per person double price. So if that helps, we definitely can accommodate solo travelers. And I encourage you to take a look at the link that Greg posted in the chat. It'll take you to rate details and detail the single supplement and the early bird savings as well.
And I do want to mention that some of these trips have a seat reduction day, so just be aware of those coming up. Sometimes you miss those, and we can't guarantee. We have spots available on these trips, and we want you to take advantage of all of these. Somebody did ask if there's a way to get these on paper. I can do you one better. Go ahead and just go to our website, alumni.uab.edu/travel. That has all of our trips currently on the books through the Spain trip early next year that you can take a look at to your heart's content. All of the information is there. So go ahead and take a look at that. Kathy, I think you're the one that posted that. Does anyone have trips planned specifically for solo travelers? Do you guys ever do that? Because I know with some of these, even though they might pick another trip, they can still travel as UAB alumni. Let's go ahead and start with Jennifer on this one.
We don't actually offer specifically solo traveler departures. I think that's maybe what you're asking. But again, we can, accommodate that solo traveler, and there is a single supplement involved.
Aaron, how about you all?
Yeah, it's the exactly the same as Jennifer outlined. Nothing specific for solo travelers, but we can accommodate on all of our programs.
Jack, same?
Same
thing. If there's a dream trip, and I'm going to go across the room because we don't have any more questions, and then we'll start to wrap things up if nothing else pops up in the chat. Aaron, I'll stop with you. Dream vacation that you want to go on?
Well, I'm going on the Rivieras in April, and that's a big bucket list trip for me. So I'm really excited about that. But before that, it was Greece. Greece is amazing. There's no place like it. So. And
I had family friends just go on a cruise. It's been a couple of years for a graduation to Greece, Turkey, Italy. They loved it. Jack, how about you? Dream vacation. I know you just got back from Morocco not that long ago.
Yeah, Morocco, and the only place that I have yet to go is Antarctica, so I've got to knock that one off so I can have all 7. But I think that's really the only reason. I mean, just want to spend one night on the peninsula just so I can say I've done it and been on all 7, but been pretty much everywhere else. But I'd really love to go there one day. But my company has a hard time letting me go anywhere for 21 days. So it's going to be a hard sell in January. In the middle of booking season.
And I know, Jennifer, you're going to Iceland twice in the matter of a few weeks or a few months. Congratulations on the coming up marriage. But what's your bucket list now that Iceland's going to be out of the way?
Right. Well, I've got 2 continents left. And actually, to Jack's point, I definitely want to mark off Antarctica, but I would love to go to the Galapagos Islands.
That's awesome. And I'm about to mark off number 2, North America, Europe. I'm going to Europe twice this year, and I'm excited about that. And I do want to repeat the website where they can find everything on our website. It's alumni.uab.edu/travel. alumni.uab.edu/travel. If you need to get in touch with us, it's just alumni@uab.edu, and we're more than happy to help you get things situated. And all 3 of these travel partners with Premier World Discovery, Gohagan and Company, and Collette, fantastic to work with. So if you have any questions, I know I can reach out to them and loop them in on the mix. Jack, Aaron, Jennifer, thank you so much for joining us tonight and spending an hour, 15, hour and a half with us, showcasing these trips that we're so excited about.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for having us.
You
Bye-bye.
are so excited. You guys go enjoy your evening. And as promised, it's time to let you know how you, our viewers, can get your hands on a travel voucher from one of our partners. If you are the first in your group to sign up for an upcoming trip, we will give you one of our vouchers. We'll be giving away one $1,000 voucher for an upcoming Collette trip. That's one $1,000 voucher for an upcoming Collette trip. Two $500 vouchers for Gohagan cruise. Two $500 for Gohagan, and two $100 vouchers for Premier World Discovery. That's $100 off a Premier World Discovery trip. Again, the first to register will receive the voucher that can be applied to a trip featured during tonight's webinar. A reminder, a replay of our virtual travel night will be uploaded onto our website tomorrow, so be on the lookout for that. We'll also send out an email. Before we go, if you're looking for a career change, join our Alumni Career Design Fellowship. This online program will help you leverage your skills and strengths in making your move into a new career. Our fellowship is part of a partnership with Mission Collaborative. The program starts April 6th, and the spots are limited. Save $50 now through March 16th by visiting alumni.uab.edu/career fellowship. And return for these webinars we have coming up on February 12th, close to Valentine's Day. The Science of series returns with the Science of Chocolate, melting the history and science as we take a look at what's behind all things chocolate with Dr. Lizzie Davis. She's returning to our webinar series. On March 5th, as part of our Mission Collaborative Partnership, we will host How to Design a Career You Love. It will feature a 4-step career planning process you don't want to miss. On March 26th, it's the Science of Graying. Is it possible to turn back time? Come back as we welcome Dr. Melissa Harris to explore what exactly is behind our hair growing gray. And April 11th, join us for the Science of Caffeine, Chemistry, Consumption, and Controversies. Dr. Daniel Smith will share why we can't live without that morning jolt of Joe. Register for these and more at alumni.uab.edu/events. Finally, share your thoughts on tonight's webinar. Help us know what you're interested in seeing in the future. Heck, where you even want to go with alumni travel. The QR code on your screen will take you to a very brief survey. Take a moment and help us out. Again, thank you so much for joining us this evening. And as always, go Blazers.